Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Masterpiece Lounge. We are back with another segment. I am so excited to be back with you all. As always, I have some really amazing gems that I want to drop and share with you today. I am your hostess, certified life coach, author, speaker, consultant, Chrisnatha Derosier. And as always, say hello down in the chat and let me know where you're tuning in from. And please don't be shy. Go ahead and share this with your network. And so today we have another segment that's planned for you, another great conversation as we finish the year strong, but also prepare for our amazing upcoming year. And so today is no different. We have an incredible segment and I can't wait to get into it. So let's get into it, guys. All right, so I have some tips I want to share with you all today. We're talking about building consistent habits and routines. And I thought it was super important to discuss this with you because we have to make sure that we are preparing ourselves for success, that we are aligning ourselves with habits and routines that are going to help us reach our goals. And so it's so important that we discuss that today. Now, there is a quote that I absolutely love. You may have heard it before, and it says, "We are what we repeatedly do. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit." And that quote is by Aristotle. Once again, it says, "We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit." So our habits matter. And this quote by Aristotle speaks to the volume of repetition. So do the things that are going to get you closer to your goals, right? But do them over and over and over again. So routines are good, right? All right, so let's jump into it. We're going to talk about how habits play a crucial role in achieving long-term success. I'm going to be sharing some strategies to help us form positive habits and why it's important to break negative ones, right? And so some steps and techniques that are going to be helpful as well. All right, so building consistent habits, consistent meaning over a period of time, right? You do it repeatedly, right? So building consistent habits and routines requires intentional effort. You must be intentional with the effort that you're putting towards these habits and routines. And why is that important? You need a systematic approach as well. And we're going to talk about why that's important today. So I have some steps I'm sharing with you. So it's about, let's see, it's about 15 steps. So I believe it's going to be super helpful. All right. So okay, note takers, get ready. All right, so here's our list of steps that are going to help us and others establish and maintain positive habits because we got to get to the goals. We got to make sure we are, being intentional. Number one is identify your goals. Once again, we said this in previous segments. It's important that we are very clear about what our goals are. Okay, so clearly define your goals, identify your goals, and then clearly define the habits that you want to develop so you can reach that goal. Okay, that's very important. Align these habits with your bigger and broader goals and your values. Okay, that's number one, identify your goals. Number two is to start small. So I know when we get excited, we're like, I want to do all of these things, and all of that's great. But we want to make sure that we're using the SMART method when we are goal setting. And so one of those elements in our SMART goal setting framework is realistic, making sure that your goal is realistic, right? That you can actually achieve it. And so number two is to start small. So begin with manageable and realistic habits, whether that's waking up a little bit earlier and being even more specific, putting a time to it. I'm waking up at 6, I'm waking up at 5, I'm waking up at 7, whatever that looks like for you, put the alarm on. For some of us, we may have to have more than one alarm. Okay, there's no shame in my game. So I got about 2 or 3 just in case I hit snooze. There's another one coming, right? Just to make sure that I'm not late. And so begin with manageable and realistic habits. Also start small increases. As you start with your realistic habits, you start managing that, start increasing that. It doesn't have to be a big increase, it could be small, um, because it increases the likelihood of more success. And it reduces overwhelm. Sometimes when you start doing too much too soon, not enough support, right? You can get overwhelmed. That can be super discouraging and you can quit altogether. And we don't want that, right? So start small. Number 3, set clear triggers. Okay, so associate your new habit with an existing routine or a specific trigger. So, for example, if you want to start a morning exercise routine, right? For instance, you can associate it with brushing your teeth, for instance. So, it's something that you already do, and you are now associating exercise with that, right? So, it's like something you automatically do. Number 4 is establish a routine. So it's one thing to kind of plan it out and say, this is what I'm going to do every day at this time, but you have to actually establish it and do it. So create a daily or weekly schedule that includes dedicated time for your new habit. For all my writers, if you're wanting to write, you're just not going to write because we don't normally just feel like writing. We're not always inspired, but having the time blocked off, we talked about time blocks before, then we are dedicating specific time to making sure that we nurture and put effort toward that particular habit and routine that we're building. Consistency is key. All right. So try to stick to the same time each day. I find that to be more helpful. You can switch it up. There's no rule that saying that you can't, but we find, and research also finds, that keeping it usually around the same time is super helpful. And so we want to make sure that you at least give that a try. Okay. So, because it's all about you being successful. Number 5 is to use reminders, set alarms, use apps. There's so many amazing apps, organizational apps, right? And place visual cues in your environment to remind you of your habit. Okay, so something I used to do, when I would plan to go to the gym very early in the morning. The gym opens at 5 a.m., my local time, and I wanted to be there early. I didn't like the crowd, right? And so I would try to get there the latest 6 a.m., but I would try to get there. It's not that far away. So I would try to get there between 5:30 and like 6:15. And so some of times what I would do is I would, this sounds silly. I can't believe I'm telling y'all this. I would go to bed in my workout gear. I know that sounds silly, but I would get ready for the gym really late at night. And I'd sleep for a couple hours and then I'd get up, brush my teeth, wash my face, put on my sneakers, grab my bag, and I would go. And I realized this was more helpful for me because just a simple act of just getting changed into my gear in the morning, I don't know why it seemed like so much work when really it wasn't. And so sometimes I did use that as an excuse to go back to bed. I know, don't do what I did, but I'm just being honest, right? I can tell you about what I do well. I can also tell you in areas where I didn't do so great. And so that's some of the things that I did to help me just get out the door because it was so early and I always had an excuse, a reason why I wanted to go back to bed and why, I could just push it off to the next day. And so already having my gear on was helpful. All right, so that's that. But let's definitely take advantage of technology. It can be a valuable tool for sending reminders and setting up reminders for ourselves. So we want to use it to our advantage. Number six is track your progress, right? So you can keep a habit tracker, you can keep a journal, some way to monitor your consistency. If you're going to the gym, you should be able to track how many times, not how many times you wanted to go this week, but how many times did you actually make it there, right? Did you go there 3 times? When you were there, were you there for at least 30 minutes or more? And so you want to have some kind of tracking of what's going on your progress that you're making. Visualizing your progress can be motivating and help you to stay on track. So having a visual reminder is always good as well. Stay accountable. Number 7, stay accountable. Share your goals with a friend. Share them with a family member or a mentor. Someone else needs to know what you're working on, because accountability is important. You can consider joining a group with similar goals, similar aspirations, to create a sense of accountability. I know I like to tell people, hey, there's meetup groups almost in every city, and so get connected with the groups who have like-minded interests and goals, and so you guys can work on things together. You can do things together, right? And so you don't have to do it by yourself, and sometimes that's just a push we need to make sure that we actually are being consistent with those habits and routines. Number 8 is building on existing habits. So piggyback your new habit onto an existing one. That's always a good thing. So for instance, if you already have a habit of making coffee in the morning, add a short mindfulness practice afterwards. So for instance, if you feel like coffee is my quiet time, I wake up a little bit earlier to get my nice cup of coffee and just to listen to music or just to sit still in quietness, right? That is okay. But if you add the aspect of mindfulness right after, that's even better, right? Or just say, I'm going to not have coffee at my desk and I'm going to journal. I'm going just to write 3 sentences about my expectations for the day, right? Setting my expectations, doing my affirmations, having some prayer time before I get busy. So that's building one habit onto an existing one. Number 9 is to stay flexible. I always say be very kind to yourself. I know changing things up, seeing what your patterns are, right? Acknowledging what they currently are and changing them for better routines and habits are a big deal. And so stay flexible and be kind to yourself. Life is very dynamic, life is very unpredictable, and unexpected events and things happen. So be flexible with yourself, be adaptable, and be willing to adjust your routine sometimes. Sometimes you won't be expecting something to change, and then all of a sudden, within a minute, within a moment, everything changes that day. So be flexible, and you can always start over tomorrow. Number 10 is to reward yourself. Celebrate your successes, no matter how small. This is so important, and it is encouraging. So celebrate your successes, no matter how small they are or how small you think they are, because successes are amazing. Rewards can provide positive reinforcement and make the habit more enjoyable. So last week I had an amazing week with work, and I was super excited because quite frankly, I was crushing it, right? I am in sales, and I was crushing it. And so I was reaching my KPIs a lot quicker and earlier in the week, which I was super excited about. The CEO took notice, and he had champagne delivered to my door. And that was so cool. Very unexpected, so awesome. Just the acknowledgement of that was so exciting. And I enjoyed it. So yeah, that was great. That was definitely me celebrating success. And on top of that, today I am going to continue my celebration, and I'm going to have some ice cream. So yes, I haven't had it in a while, but I'm treating myself. Okay. So yes, I will be having dessert because I can. Okay. And did and will. And that is me celebrating myself. It's a treat for me because it's not something I have often anymore, even though I enjoy it so much. And so this is a nice treat. So that is celebrating for me. And it may seem simple, but it is rewarding, it's encouraging, and it's just a moment for me to say, you go, girl, right? So just like I am going to be celebrating myself, well, continuing to celebrate myself, no matter how small or big I feel that success is, I want you to do the same. Celebrate yourself. It's been so much going on. We have had quite the year, but I need you to take a moment and celebrate you. I am so proud of you. Number 11, reflect and adjust. Reflect and adjust. Say it with me, guys. Reflect and adjust. So what does this mean? Regularly assess your progress. So for instance, whether it's daily, every week, every month, I need you to really just take a look. Not just, oh yeah, I'm doing okay, but I need us to be able to measure the progress. We talked about this, right? Our SMART goal framework, right? That our goals are specific, they're measurable, attainable, right? And so how can we measure our progress? We need some solid numbers, guys. If you're looking to lose weight, I know I don't like the scale either, right? But if that's your thing and you're going based on that, then look at the numbers, but not just numbers in terms of weight. Maybe you're losing inches, right? And maybe your blood pressure readings are better. Maybe your glucose readings are better. So there's so many ways to measure success in our health as we make changes, because we all have different things going on health wise. And so you decide what that looks like for you, you and your physician. However, success, we got to be able to measure it, right? We just have to. And you might say, I feel better. That's good. That's good. That's what we want to hear. But in feeling better as well, how can we measure that as well? Are you sleeping better? There's no more pain when you get up? Like, are your migraines decreasing? Like, how can we measure this? Right. So I just want you to think about that. Assessing my progress, right? Reflect on what's working, reflect on what's not working. It's okay to go in and tweak things. Not everything is going to work. I just want to make sure that you're giving yourself space to change things, to adjust, to revise the plan. It's all good, right? So what's not working? Then let's not even keep doing it, right? So adjust your approach accordingly. It is specific to you, whether that involves modifying the habit or changing the routine altogether. You decide. Number 12 is practice patience. Now, this can be hard for a lot of us. Let's be honest. Who has an issue with being patient? Let's not all raise our hands at once. Let's not all raise our hands at once. Okay, guys, I am kind of like raising it, but not raising it, because I am better than I used to be, but I still have room to grow. And that is just me being honest, right? So I'm more patient than I used to be, but I still could be better. So that's my area of opportunity. And that is honest. And that's okay, because it's not about perfection, it's about progress, right? And so number 12, once again, is practice patience. Habits take time to form. We're not going to start something on Monday and all of a sudden we're so in love with it Friday, we're killing it, we're never making mistakes. No, we're learning as we go. Some days are great, some days are not so great. So they take time. So be patient with yourself. It is okay. Once again, be kind with yourself, be patient with yourself. Recognize that consistency builds over weeks and over months. So if you make some mistakes first couple days, it's okay. Learn from it, keep going. Sometimes we spend so much energy on what we didn't do well. Celebrate what you did do well, and let's just keep going. Let's try again. Number 13, visualize success. Visualize it. I love vision boards for this very reason. I love to see, notes up on the wall. I like to see something that is encouraging, right? That's empowering, that's motivating. So imagine the positive outcomes of maintaining your habit. Once again, I use vision boards. I love just that visual. Visualization can strengthen your commitment and it can strengthen your motivation. So whatever it looks like, doesn't have to be a vision board, but whatever it looks like, visualize your success. Okay, it's important to be able to see that. Number 14, seek support. No man is an island. Surround yourself with individuals who share similar goals. Join groups. There's so many groups, guys. I don't think there's any excuse for us to not be connected, at least virtually, for sure. And then we can also connect locally as well. For some of us who work remotely, maybe it's time to start going to a co-working space, right? Maybe. Might make some friends there. And so there's so many ways. But want to make sure that you are just not with yourself all the time and not sharing this, so you don't have any accountability or support or encouragement. You'll be definitely, there'll be days you're discouraged, and it's important to have that support to help push you forward. Lastly, number 15, continuous improvement. It is an ongoing journey. So as you become more comfortable with one habit, consider adding another. Pace yourself, everybody. This is not about a race that you're trying to win and you're trying to do this quickly. You're trying to learn discipline in certain areas. You're learning to be consistent. Okay, that happens over time. It's not about I want to get there fast, but I want to do this right. I want to build habits. I want to get discipline, and that's a muscle, right? So you have to keep working it. The goal is to gradually build a suit of positive habits that align with your objectives, and that takes time. Be kind and patient with yourself. But over time, we want to make sure that we see progress. And that happens as you are consistent. Okay. So remember that building consistent habits, it's a journey. Setbacks are a natural part of the process, and approach the development of habits with patience, with persistence, and a positive mindset. All right, guys. So we made it through our list of 15. And so there's so many tips shared. So there's no reason why you can't take at least a couple of those and start applying them in your life starting today. I am so excited for you. We are on our way. We are ready to rock and roll. We are going to finish strong, but we're also laying foundation so that when we go into our upcoming year, we're going with a positive mindset. We're not going to go into it with anxiety. We're going with excitement and ready to crush it. I'm super excited for you. Let's connect on all social media platforms if we're not already connected. And if you need a life coach to help walk alongside you with any of this, I'm your girl. All right. So get in touch with me and let's make it happen. As always, super happy to be with you guys. And I will see you soon, right here, same time, same place next week. And until then, be well.